Good evening, everybody. Welcome back to the Signal 50 podcast. Welcome back, your hosts, Alpha and Bravo, for episode 3. We just wanted to come to you and do a little bit of housekeeping up front to give you the bottom line up front. We've got a few episodes under our belt now, and we've gotten an opportunity to look at some of the analytics. And what it's telling us is we need to change the format a little bit.
Mm-hmm.
We're going to condense everything down a little bit. What do you think there, Bravo? Do you think
Well, we definitely have to shorten it up. As much as I love to talk, which that's my problem, right? Since we're kids, it really you're telling us some things in the analytics that you want it right up front, and we're going to give it to you.
Exactly. So we're gonna condense things down, and we're gonna do a 2-part program. We're going to hit some high points here, and we're going to give you that bottom line up front. We're going to hit some 3 quick topics. We're going to spend a few minutes on each. 10 minutes on the first, probably 5 or 6 minutes on the second. And the third topic is going to be the lead into episode 3, part 2, which is going to be available in podcast format, so you can take it with you and listen to it in the car, at work when you're supposed to be doing some things, or even if you're indisposed. So without further ado, let's just give you the bottom line here. If anybody's not been living under a rock, James O'Keefe with Project Veritas took his cameras to Minneapolis, apparently for quite some time. He'd been recording for, and the quote is, months, linking our friend Ilhan Omar to voter fraud in buying votes and harvesting ballots in Minneapolis. We're going to spend some time there. We've got a great news story for you about people waking up and looking through the fog of the news from the American Thinker. It's a great article. We're going to put the link up in the show notes. Really like you to go ahead and give that a read. It might brighten up your day a little bit. It's pretty gloomy out there, right?
Oh, definitely gloomy.
Yeah, last night didn't help.
No, we'll get into that. We're gonna bring up some of the highlights of that, because everyone's been talking about it, but we want to give you that more of a common folk, what we thought about it. We're going to talk about it, and then in the second part of it, which will be available on the audio podcast, available on Apple Podcasts and SoundCloud and Spotify and Podbean, you can join us for further, more in-depth discussion. So,
right. So we're just going to touch on the debate. So without further ado, let's drop right into the first bit that we want to discuss. We're going to put up for you on the screen. James O'Keefe. We're just going to raise this up, and we're going to have a talk about it. Twitter, generally speaking, is a dumpster fire, but it's been really good about. Otherwise, you wouldn't be able to keep up with people like James O'Keefe and some of his antics and some of the things that he's been doing. It's amazing.
He does good work, and he is on Parler, by the way, just so everyone's aware. You don't have to follow him on Twitter. You can go to Parler, which is a much more easier way to navigate and get your word out there without worrying about being throttled.
Absolutely. James O'Keefe, he's fearless. The man has been sued, jailed, persecuted, and Tom Fitton did an interview with him tonight, a live stream with him about this story. Just absolutely amazing. If you dive into the story that James O'Keefe uncovered, as a tax-paying American, it's horrible.
It is, and this story originated. James O'Keefe, what he does is he asks for people to come forward and and act big. I believe I have to pull up the tagline that they do, but this story comes from a whistleblower within the immigrant community, the Somalian immigrant community. He was been around for 20 years in the United States. He saw what was going on. He saw the voter manipulation going on inside that area. It was basically a whole scam, working with not only Ilhan Omar, the U.S. representative, all the way down to the local government. And he got sick and tired of it. Contacted Project Veritas and became a true whistleblower. You know, that word was destroyed by Shifty Schiff, but he's a true whistleblower, and he brought this out.
Yeah, I believe that guy, that gentleman that blew the whistle on this, I think he was one of the chairs of the Somali Community Watchdog Group.
Correct.
Yeah, and he works with the Ramsey County Sheriff's Department. For anybody who's not familiar with Minnesota, Hennepin County is where the once wonderful and beautiful city of Minneapolis sits. Ramsey County is where the really beautiful, cool town of St. Paul, Minnesota is. Was a lot cooler a few years ago. It's just really gone downhill from there. I know from personal experience. But yeah, he wasn't getting any traction with what he was doing, and you've got an AG in the state of Minnesota. You might remember that guy. He's Keith Ellison.
Yep. Yeah. Oh, God, Keith Ellison.
He's pretty terrible. He's probably not willing to do a whole lot about it. So this guy just jumped right over everybody, went to Project Veritas, put it out there for the entire world to see.
Mm-hmm.
And any kind of voting crime like this is a federal offense.
So the video itself, and I'm sure many of you out there have seen this video. What took me took me back was the audacity of well, I know his last name was Mohammed, right? And he driving in his car, speaking both English and Arabic or whatever language. I apologize. I thought it was his native language, and he's bragging about how he goes into different parts of the community, demands that they hand over their ballots, and not even filled in, or tell them what to fill in. Goes through the entire scheme that is how basically I believe how Omar got into office on a scam. She got into this country in a scam. She married her brother, so the brother could be here, and she is just a pitiful, despicable person with no honor, and that's how she got into office.
She's pretty terrible.
Mm-hmm.
All the way around. She's I'm not saying this for any other reason than her own words. She's an anti-Semite.
Correct.
Not seem to really care too much for the country where she ran to, and by hook or by crook, she was provided an education, money, housing, shelter, and this woman in a few short years becomes a congressperson. I got to say one thing about her: she's pretty damn clever. But most sociopaths are. So
yeah, but she also, I mean, the undermining, that whole issue with the Congress, how she was saying those disgusting things about Israel and Jews and how the typical stereotypical things that are said about Jewish people, about money growing, just disgusting stuff. And the House of Representatives couldn't even get their act together to place a censure on her. It got kind of like distilled throughout. We were against all kinds of discrimination, and this whole referring to as a squad is an insult to me, as and all the other first responders out there, because that's not the proper word for these collection of so-called representatives that have their own agenda and their own power-hungry means to bring about their own will on everybody. So she's just despicable. But it's interesting because this isn't the only video that they have, Alpha. There is more coming.
There's
more coming.
The guy that they caught with the 300 ballots, the Muhammad whatever, caught him with 300 ballots in his car. They didn't catch him. He caught himself. He's like,
he's videotaping it with the audacity, and he was walking with his wife, I believe, like steps behind, and she's just egging him, supportive of him, and he's bragging about how they get paid and they fill it out, and then she was the one that hands the money over. So I hope they perp walk her right out of the House of Representatives in silver bracelets with the federal police, and she can get put into the back of a police car and brought down and put in jail for a long time.
I'm not exactly positive what federal election fraud charges are for this kind of thing, buying ballots, paying off, voter intimidation. I mean, the list of felonies is astounding, and it's directly linked to Ilhan Omar. The money came from her campaign.
Yep.
And they said that they met with her, and there's a whole bunch of tapes that are coming. This guy, after he gets done bragging about the 300 votes that he has in his car, he puts that tape out, whatever, and O'Keefe goes ahead and publishes this stuff. And this guy he's got the cojones to go ahead and tweet at O'Keefe saying, yeah, you're just making me more famous, blah, blah, blah.
Even mentions BLM Inc., which I won't even use their names.
Exactly.
I call them BLM Inc. I refuse to, in my opinion, all lives matter, not just one group.
Bravo, you're canceled. You can't say that.
Oh, well, I'm going to say it anyway. Don't care.
Again. Well, the point is, O'Keefe, he tweets back at the guy, hey, dude, yeah, we're really going to make you famous because our cameras have been rolling on this for months. Months. How much footage must there be? Talk about an October surprise. They're going to probably wind up with the big girl herself talking about this. That's how O'Keefe does it. Drip, 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 drip. Big tease. And he gets to the point when he's ready to get to the point, and I'm not sure he's there yet. So, there's a lot about this story. The Somali community in the city of Minneapolis, I had quite a bit of experience with them, having spent quite a bit of time in that area. It's a closed community. They might not have accepted the fact that they're not in some kind of tribalistic hellhole anymore, and they still run it like it is in that area, in the Cedar Riverside area. So they've got some challenges. Hard
habit to break, when you're used to that kind of lifestyle.
I guess. So there's a lot out there about it. I would definitely keep your eyes peeled for more to come from Project Veritas on this story. It's probably one of the bigger stories that's going to break in 2020. Well, probably in the last 10 years. This is a big deal. I think we've threshed the weed enough on there. People can go out and form their own opinion based upon.
Go to projectveritas.org. Is it .org or .com? I can't.
.org, or you can just follow James O'Keefe on Twitter, Parler.
Yep.
Project Veritas. They're everywhere, so you should be able to find them. Just gonna touch really briefly, in the remaining minute and a half that we have in our first 20-minute segment here of Part 1, Episode 3, Part 1. Let's just touch very high level on the debate. Well, I'm not sure that was a debate. I don't know what that was. I've never seen anything like that before in my life. Have you?
No, I haven't. And it's going to be interesting because I thought, I again, analyzing the data, looking around what's out there, it's going to be an interesting conversation when we get to it, but it was a sloppy win for President Trump.
It really was. And it was a very, very sloppy. It was sloppy. It was a hard way to get there. It didn't have to be like that, or maybe it did.
Who knows? Well, we'll get into it. It won't. We don't want to lose everyone right now. So hang in there. We're gonna switch over to our podcast mode, but before that, just hang in there with us for a couple of minutes, and then we'll go ahead and. If you can't catch it right now on the video, go to your favorite podcasting platform and pick us up on there.
Right. And that being said, we're going to do our quick hit for our affiliate, POF USA, Patriot Ordnance Factory of Chandler, Arizona. Rifles made for Patriots by Patriots. Everything's American made, always, all the time. A family-owned business making some of the finest, most innovative AR-15 platforms in the world at a reasonable price. Fantastic. I will not promote anything that I don't have personal experience with, and let me tell you something, fantastic piece of equipment. So Buy with confidence. Go take a look. Go find them at pof-usa.com. Again, pof-usa.com.
All righty. So thanks for sticking with us on Rumble and also on YouTube. Yuck, but we have to be on YouTube. But follow us on also on Parler under Signal 50 Podcast. Thanks for sticking with us.
If you want to stay tuned for episode 3, part 2 in an audio only format, come join us for another little discussion. Everybody, at this point, have a great day.
Have a great one, everyone.